Hello dear students, welcome back again to Chinmoy's YouTube channel. So till now we have already completed two main lessons. That is the first one, transport of food and minerals in plants, and the second one, reproduction in plants. Now today we are here with a brand new episode of reproduction in humans. So here I am going to complete the full lesson in one shot only. So stay with me so that I can complete the full lesson in one shot. So let us start with today's episode. So what we are going to learn today, we are going to learn about what is sexual reproduction. We are going to learn about the main organs of the male reproductive system in humans, male organs of female reproductive system, fertilization, development of the embryo and all. So it's a very important lesson we should learn in 8th standard, and we are going to learn in complete details in 10th standard. So for knowing more about all these lessons and all other lessons also, you need to subscribe to my channel. So please do subscribe to my channel. Stay tuned, stay updated with all the lessons which I am posting. I post generally twice or thrice a week as per your ICSE curriculum. So stay tuned, stay updated with my lessons. So let us start with today's episode of reproduction in humans. So when we come to the word reproduction, we should know that animals reproduce, plants also reproduce. So what is the reason of reproduction? That is to carry on their generation after generation. So to continue their regeneration, they keep on reproducing. So we know that plants reproduce to continue their species, as well as animals also reproduce to continue their species. So animals like the primitive organisms like Hydra, what they used to do, they used to reproduce asexually, which involved only one parent. Okay, so the most advanced multicellular animals like the human beings, they reproduce sexually. So we can say that primitive organisms, they used to reproduce by asexual reproduction. Okay, so that was asexual reproduction because only one parent was required there. So that mode of reproduction was asexual reproduction. Okay, but as we have advanced, the multicellular organisms, they including human beings, they reproduce sexually. So in this chapter we are going to learn about sexual reproduction and the various stages of growth and development in them. So when we start with sexual reproduction, we should know that it involves two organisms. So primitive organisms, they used asexual reproduction where only one parent was involved. Okay, one parent was involved, but here both the male and the female parent will be involved. So the male and the female sex cells or gametes, they fuse together to form a zygote, which develops into a new organism. Now the male organism, they produces male gametes, these are called sperms, while the female produces the female gametes called the ova. Now the fusion of the male sperm and the female ovum is called fertilization. So what is fertilization? Fusion of the male sperm and female ovum is called fertilization. So these all processes in this lesson we are going to study in detail. Now when the sperm fuses with the ovum outside the female body, that is called external. So something which is forming outside the body is the external fertilization that happens in fishes, frogs, etc. But when the fusion takes place inside the female body, that is internal fertilization, that is in mammals, birds and reptiles. So this type of fertilization, the fusion of the male and the female gamete takes place within the body. So that is called the internal fertilization. So we will discuss about these processes in details in this lesson only. Now in this lesson we are being introduced to many new terms. So what are gonads? So here we are what are gonads? The primary reproductive organs that produce reproductive cells or gametes are called gonads. In males, the gonads are testes, whereas in female, the gonads are ovaries. Okay. Now, a sperm is a single cell with all its usual cell components. Now, what is the hormone which is secreted from the male hormone? That is, the male sex hormone is the testosterone that is produced by the testes, and the ovaries are producing the female sex hormone, that is progesterone and estrogen. So is it clear? So for the male it is testosterone, and for the female it is progesterone and estrogen, and these reproductive organs are called gonads. So what are gonads? These are presently, we can say that these are the reproductive organs of the male or the female. So both are called the gonads. So in male it is testes and in female it is ovaries. Now here we come with the organs of the male reproductive system. Now in males we can say that they are having a pair of testes, They are having sperm ducts, urethra, penis and accessory glands. Okay, so the male gametes are called sperms. They are produced in a pair of reproductive organs called testes. So let us see here what is the male reproductive system structure. So when we come to this, sperms are produced by a pair of reproductive organs called testes. Now here we can see, if you see the labeling here, where are the testes located? These are the pair of testes, okay? And these testes are always located outside the abdominal cavity in a scrotum, in a sac-like structure called scrotum. So testes are located outside the abdomen in the sac-like structure called scrotum. Why they are located outside? Because the abdomen, inside the abdomen, the temperature is too high. But for the production of the sperms, these they should be in a lower temperature. That is, if they are lying outside the abdomen, they will be in much lower temperature. So scrotum is a sac where it is stored in a much lower temperature than inside the abdomen. So that is why they are lying outside the abdomen in a sac-like structure called scrotum. Now the sperms, they travel through the sperm duct. So where is the sperm duct? We can say this ductus deferens. This is the sperm duct. It is also called vas deferens. Okay, to reach the urethra. So this is having three names. It is called the sperm duct. It is called the ductus deferens. It is also called the vas deferens to reach the urethra. So through this tube, the sperms are passing to the urethra. So the urethra, what is urethra? The urethra, this spongy urethra, it is a tube through which the urine passes, and as the sperms pass through these sperm duct, the secretion from the accessory glands are mixed with them. So accessory gland secretion is also mixed with them. So the mixture of the sperm secretions and the secretions of the accessory gland, that is called the semen. So as they travel through the sperm duct, vas deferens, to reach the urethra. So urine is also passing through this tube, and the mixture of the sperms and the secretion from these accessory glands, that is called the semen. And this is the male reproductive organ, or the penis. So what is penis? This is the male reproductive organ. The mixture of the sperms and the secretion from the accessory gland is called the semen, and they are traveling through the sperm duct or the vas deferens to reach the urethra. So urethra is a spongy tube-like structure through which the urine also passes. Is it clear? So this is all we are here about seeing the male reproductive system, the parts of a male reproductive system. Just see, this is a label diagram. So at times they are giving you this diagram with the parts to label, or they will give you some parts and they will ask you to say the function of each and every part. So this is seminal vesicle, this is the bladder, and this is the prostate gland. Okay, this is the prostate gland. This one is the epididymis. Okay. So this layer above this testes is the epididymis. This is the ductus deferens, vas deferens. This is seminal vesicle, bladder and prostate gland. So all these organs in details, again you are going to study in the 10th standard. So in 8th, this is all you are having. So now we will go to the structure of the sperm, that we should know a little bit. Again in higher class we will study in detail. So this is the structure of the sperm. We just need this structure, the head, neck, the middle piece and the tail. This is the axial filament. This detailing is not required for you in 8th standard. It is required in 10th standard or higher classes. Just remember that the penis is the male reproductive organ through which the sperms are discharged and deposited into the vagina of the female body. So the male reproductive organ, it is only discharging the sperms and they are deposited in the vagina. And this is these are like deposited in the vagina of the female body, and this organ is used, this penis is used both for the discharge of urine and sperm. So it is used both for the discharge of urine and sperms. Okay, so make it clear. Is it clear to you all? Now we will move on to the female reproductive. Now when we come to the female reproductive system, we can say it consists of a pair of ovaries. It consists of a pair of ovaries. Okay, it consists of pair of ovaries. You can see here one ovary and here one ovary. So it consists of pair of ovaries, fallopian tubes or oviducts, okay, and the uterus. So ovaries are almond shaped and they are oval glands situated at the pelvic or the hip region. These are almond shaped and they are located at the pelvic or the hip region. They produce eggs or ova. They are producing eggs or ova. The mature egg, they move through the funnel shape. They are moving through the funnel shaped fallopian tube towards the oviduct and towards the uterus. Okay, fallopian tubes, these mature eggs, they move through the funnel-shaped muscular tubes called the fallopian tubes or the oviducts towards the uterus. And this uterus is how it is a hollow. This is the uterus, which is a hollow muscular pear-shaped organ. So in the uterus only the zygote will develop and the baby is formed. Okay, in the uterus only. So we can say that this is the fallopian tube, this is the uterine tube, this is the uterine cavity where it is a hollow and where the uterus, the zygote develops into a baby. Okay, so this is the vagina, this is the cervix, this is the endometrium. So this is the endometrial lining or endometrium of the uterus. Okay, so this details we'll learn in the next slides, where we will see how the endometrium it is shedded after when the fertilization is not happening. So let us see. Now here we are continuing with the structure of the male reproductive system. So here we will see that the lower part of the uterus is the cervix. I've told you earlier only this lower part of the uterus is the cervix, and the cervix has a narrow opening. This opening is the vagina. Okay, so this is a narrow muscular opening, muscular tube-like structure that is called the vagina. This is the vagina and this is the cervix, and this opening, this muscular opening is the vagina. The vagina is the part which receives the sperms. Okay, and it also serves as the birth canal through which the mature baby is delivered. So the baby which is growing and developing inside the uterus, it is delivered through this muscular tube or this vagina. So this serves as the birth canal through which the mature baby is delivered. Okay, so let us proceed with the process of ovulation and menstruation. Now here comes what is ovulation and what is menstruation. So ovulation, what is it? Now the release of a mature egg from an ovary is called the ovulation. So one egg is released from one of the ovaries. So there are two ovaries we have seen. So from the alternate ovaries, every month one egg is matured. So this process of forming of an egg from an ovary is called ovulation. Now females generally they have a 28-day long reproductive cycle. So the ovulation generally starts at the 14th day of the cycle. So you see from here, if the menstruation starts here 1 to 7 days, 6 days. So this is the menstruation phase. After that, from 8 to this 19th day, this is the fertile phase. And this phase from the 20th to the 28th day is the infertile phase. So this is the full menstrual cycle of 28 days. Now the ovulation generally occurs in this 14th day of the cycle. So this 14th day of the cycle, the ovulation occurs. Okay, so the ovulation or the mature egg is produced or released from the ovary in this day. So during this time, we can say that if the sperm is deposited in the vagina, then there is a chance of fertilization, and zygote is formed, and that zygote is implanted in the uterus, and thus we can say that the embryo is formed and a baby is formed. So that is the process we will be learning in details. So this is what is ovulation, that is release of mature egg from the ovary on the 14th day of the cycle, and this is a cycle of 28 days, and where one egg is released from each ovary every month. Now if the egg is not fertilized, what is happening? So this egg is expelled from the uterus along with the uterine muscles and blood. So what is that happening if the egg is not fertilized? If the sperms are not deposited in the vagina during this fertile period, that is from the 8th day to the 19th day, if the sperm is not at all present in the vagina, then what is happening? The uterus along with the uterine muscles and blood, that is discharged from the body. So on the 28th day of the cycle, the lining of the uterus breaks and the blood along with the tissues is discharged from the vagina. So this flow of blood along with the tissues, along with the muscles, is called menstruation. So this flow of blood along with the tissues, along with the muscles on the 28th day of the cycle is called menstruation. It generally lasts for 3 to 5 days, marking the end of the cycle. So another cycle starts as this cycle ends 28th day, another cycle starts from that day itself. So first 5 or 6 days, that is the bleeding phase, that is the starting of another cycle. So then the uterus breaks and the blood along with the tissues is discharged. Now this menstruation, it continues up to 50 years of life of a female. And if after this no eggs are released from the ovaries, and at this stage of women's life when the menstrual period stops permanently and she is no longer able to bear children, is called menopause. So this phase is called menopause, when a woman is not able to bear child after this menstrual period stops, that is menopause. So the starting, we will say when it is starting it is called menarche, and when it is ending it is called menopause. Okay. So here comes fertilization. So what is happening in fertilization? So fertilization, generally it's taking place in the fallopian tubes or the oviducts. So fertilization takes place in the fallopian tubes or the oviducts. So what is happening? The sperms, these are the sperms. These sperms are received from the male body by the vagina. They swim up to the oviduct, they are swimming up to the oviduct, they are swimming up to the fallopian tube for fertilization. Now ovum is fertilized by a single sperm. So many sperms we can see here. So only a single sperm will be fertilizing the ovum. So it results in the formation of a single cell called zygote. After fertilization, it forms zygote. Okay, is it clear? Now since the zygote is formed as a result of fusion of sex cells, that is the ovum and the sperm. So which all are combining? The ovum and the sperm are combining. Two sex cells are combining, fusion. That is fusion from the father and mother. It has chromosomes of both the genes from both of them. So this new individual inherits the character of both the parents. So now this is the zygote. So this is inheriting the character of both mother and father. Okay, so this is inheriting the character of both mother and father. And we can say that the zygote moves from the oviduct to the uterus. Okay, so then it is moving after this zygote is formed. This is moving from the oviduct. It is moving from the oviduct to the uterus. So in this uterus only the implantation will happen. So zygote moves from the oviduct to the uterus and it gets implanted. It gets implanted. So this I'll be going to teach you in details in the next slide. So then the uterus is implanted in for the further development. Is it clear? So in a diagrammatic representation, I'll be teaching you in the next slide. Now here we are starting with the embryonic development, that is from fertilization. So what is happening here? We have already told that the formation of an individual from the zygote is called the development. So when the individual is going to form from a zygote, so zygote, when it is formed, when the fusion of the male and the female gamete occurs. So we have told it previously that the ovum and the sperm, they unite to form the zygote. So the zygote, after several developmental stages, it undergoes continuous cell division to form a ball of cells. So this fertilization is occurring when the sperms are moving towards the egg. Now zygote, only one sperm enters the egg and zygote is formed. Then it divides to form the nuclei of the sperm and the egg. They are forming this zygote stage. Then they are dividing into a 4-cell stage. Then morula is formed. Is it clear? Now this gets implanted into the uterine cell wall. So the implanted ball of cells undergoes again many cell divisions. Okay, from the morula, then blastocyst stage comes and the cells change their shape, function to become different types of cells such as nerve cells and blood cells, and then it gives birth to this embryo. So after several divisions, subdivisions, changes in the shape of the cell, size of the cells, they form nerve cells, blood cells and all, then this embryo is formed. Now what happens again, we will see in details. Now here we see the implantation process, how this is happening. So what is implantation? See, we have told that this is being the zygote, the sperm is fertilizing the ovum. Now in different stages, this is morula stage is formed. Then this is the E stage here. So gradually when it is forming the blastocyst stage, it is getting implanted in the uterus. So this blastocyst state is getting implanted in the uterus. You can see that this is the 8th stage where it is getting implanted in the uterus. Okay, the blastocyst stage is getting implanted in the uterus, and after that only, after several divisions, changes in the cells shape, size and all, it gives rise to nerve cell, blood cells and all. So that after implantation, that is happening. So we can say the natural way in which the embryo gets embedded in the uterine wall for the development is called implantation. And from the 3rd week till the end of the 2nd month, the developing organism is called the embryo. So it is called the embryo from the 3rd week till the 2nd month of the developing, and from the 3rd month until the birth it is called the fetus. So till birth we will say that the baby is the fetus. Okay, until 2nd month it is the embryo. Until the last month, until the baby is delivered, it is called the fetus. Now the fetus is connected to the uterus by a special structure called placenta. So this placenta also we are going to learn a little bit. So what is placenta? The fetus is connected to the uterus by the structure called placenta. Now here we should know a little bit about that organ placenta. Though it is not in your syllabus, we will know something about it. So what is placenta? It is very important. So see, this is placenta. Placenta is an organ attached to the lining of the uterus. So this is the uterus where the baby is growing, and this is placenta. So through this placenta only the developing fetus, it receives essential nutrients, oxygen from the mother. So the blood of the mother and the fetus will never mix. This placenta, the carbon dioxide and other wastes from the fetus also pass into the mother's blood through the placenta itself, and after that it is excreted through the body of the mother only. So whatever excretory matters, whatever carbon dioxide and other waste from the fetus, they are delivered to the placenta, and the placenta, it delivers it to the mother's blood, and like that only it is excreted out from the body, and through the placenta only this fetus is developing the nutrients and oxygen from the mother. Now here are some important terms we should know while we are studying in reproduction in animals. So let us go to those points. So first one is parthenogenesis. What is parthenogenesis? Parthenogenesis is a kind of reproduction that involves the development of an unfertilized egg into an individual. So unfertilized egg is produced into an individual. So this process is called parthenogenesis. Now this happens mostly in wasps, bees, ants, and to reproduce by this method is very uncommon. Now some reptiles and fishes are also capable of reproducing in this parthenogenesis method. Now another important thing is that the sexual dimorphism. So what is sexual dimorphism? The difference in external appearance of the males and the females of the same species in color, shape, size and structure. So we know that all the species like humans also, they show sexual dimorphism. The males and the females, their external appearance, their color, shape, size, structure is different. So this differences in external appearance is called the sexual dimorphism. Now it is seen also in many birds like peafowls and peacocks, wherein the males have colored plumes and feathers while the females are not so beautiful. So that is the sexual dimorphism in animals. So it's happening in many animal species, and whereas in humans also there is sexual dimorphism. So this is about your sexual reproduction in animals, or reproduction in animals. This is a full one-shot lesson. I have completed full in details. Till then, if you are having any doubts, any queries regarding any part of this lesson, please do ask in my comment box, and please stay tuned, subscribe to my channel, share my channel with your friends, so that whatever I am posting as per your curriculum, your ICSE curriculum, you can study everything in a sequential manner with notes and with diagrams. So stay tuned, stay updated with my lessons, and please do revise this lesson as much as you can, and ask me your questions in the comment box so that I can get back to you with the answers. Thank you.